two, one, go.
All right, everyone, it's time for some Cyberpunk 2077 title screen with MooWell2. So take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. All right. So, as you mentioned, it's going to be Cyberpunk 2077 title screen. It's going to be about an hour long. We'll begin in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So, to start, we're starting out as the street kid background, mainly because it only takes about 6.5 minutes instead of 10. So that saves us a bunch of time right off the bat. We've got a couple settings. For example, the language setting is going to be in Polish. You'll get to hear that a little bit later. In here, we're jumping around simply because walking is slow. Nobody likes to walk, especially when you can jump. There is a little thing called edge running that we could have done right there, but it's kind of inconsistent. You'll get to see a little bit later as we're running up a ramp. This guy, his name is Kirk. He's kind of got bullets to my friend's kneecaps down at the bottom, so we're going to help him out a little bit. I'm going to try to steal that car that we saw in the magazine. He's giving us a skeleton key that may or may not work. Okay. Here, that was a little thing where if you break an object, like a stool or a table or a chair or something similar, you will just jettison into whatever direction you happen to be going. And now we get to our first lengthy cutscene. This is going to take us about 4 minutes. So, if you want to say something, now is a good time. I can explain the story a little bit later.
Sure. Well, we actually don't have any donations at the moment, but I did just want to remind everyone that we are here to raise money for the Heartland Animal Shelter. So I think Alexis just typed the exclamation point to donate, so that's the command if you would like to donate.
Sounds good, sounds good. So, as I mentioned before, we are going to steal a car. This guy, he's giving us a ride. His name is Padre. Basically, we had a relationship a couple years ago where I would work for him, he'd send me out to do some jobs, and I was very good at it. Well, the player character. Very, very good at it. So now we're back. We've been back for a couple of weeks, and we just met Padre again. Wants to catch up for a little bit. Things have changed since we've been out. There's a car over there. See that guy? That guy's going to be following us here in about 15 seconds. They're not real happy with how things are going on. Kurwa. That's a gun. Alright, so he's going to pull us over, and we're going to have a little chat. And this chat is going to go one of two ways. Either we can tell him off a little bit later, which is what we're going to do, or we can just stay silent and let Padre do the talking.
Czego chcesz?
Załatwić nasze sprawy, rasa dobrze.
So yeah, really what's going on is he's trying to get some land off of Padre. Between him and this guy, they run two different districts. There's the Vista and the Glen. And he's trying to get the Vista. And we don't care.
Ja ciebie też nie, a to znaczy, że chuja tu znaczysz i chuja możesz. No, coś jeszcze?
Wydaje mi się, że skończyliśmy tę rozmowę.
Uważaj, Padre. Oglądaj się za siebie. Ty też, Lido.
Yeah, basically he's telling us off.
Markus, jedziemy.
That's fine. Alright, with that out of the way, we're gonna finally go to our destination. We're off to a parking garage, where this Rayfield, that's the name of the car, is stowed.
Że nie zapomniałaś, skąd pochodzisz i jak się zachować. Mam tu wystarczająco wielu
When we get there, what's gonna happen is, supposedly we're gonna talk to some guy and he's gonna disable the cameras. We're not actually gonna do that, we're just gonna run right on by. Recently, there was actually a little bit of speed tech kind of discovered. It's a bit called wave dashing. We named it that after something similar in the Super Smash Bros. Series. But it's difficult to pull off without a certain cyberware.
Zeskoczę stąd na dół.
Up here it can save maybe 5-6 seconds, but it's very difficult to pull off, so I will not be showing that here.
Może jeszcze razem popracujemy i przypomnisz sobie, jak to było parę lat temu.
Dzięki, Padre. Czas na mnie.
And we're out. Alright, let's see if I can get it. There's a little bit where you might be able to skip little ways into the car. See if it happens.
Widzę ten samochód.
And it did not. It's unfortunate. It would have saved about 3.5 seconds. Okay, so now this is our first meeting with Mr. Jackie Wells. This guy, for the longest time, was a real pain in the butt. Over the course of the run, he just walks slowly, runs slowly, kind of gets fallen behind in hallways and corridors, and it's just a real pain in the keister. We gotta kind of babysit him along the way. But recently, there was another strat discovered that kind of speeds through literally every cutscene that we have. I will be setting that up here in just a few minutes. But before that, there's something else that has to be done. So, we're here in this apartment complex. As soon as it loads. Here in this apartment complex, gonna be rescuing a woman named Sandra Dorset. She's off yonder. Over there, there's a little bit of an out of bounds that we can use. And it's somewhat inconsistent, but it doesn't take too long to set up. If I can't get it on like... Oh no, come on, really? Come on. There we go.
Nie mamy teraz na to czasu. Może...
That happens.
Jasne. Spoko.
No, to do roboty.
Okay. In order to do that, though, we have to set up a little thing called fist lighting. We bring out our fists, kinda do a little bit of that. Oh. God, I lost it. Alright. Let's take the elevator.
Klientka nazywa się Sandra Dorset. Jej biomonitor zniknął z radaru parę godzin temu. Chyba ją porwali. Możliwe, że już nie żyje. Nie wiadomo, czy zdążyliście.
So this is kind of what I was talking about.
Nawet tylko na słuchawce jesteś częścią.
This is significantly faster than just running.
Urocze.
It also allows you to fly into the sky. Alright.
Lokal 1237. Dziewczyna powinna być w środku, ale nie mam odczytu z jej biomonitora. Nie wiadomo, czy jeszcze żyje. Mam nadzieję, że nie jest za późno.
Plus trigger to
Macie
load.
mało czasu.
Trigger. I need a trigger, Jackie.
Spróbuj zhakować drzwi. Możesz je obejść sama?
Okay.
Sandra Dorset jest dopięta im.
Zanim pójdziecie dalej,
Normally you like to punch him. Oh my gosh, there's a...
Brak ruchu na sensorach.
Oh,
Wygląda na to, że jest czysto.
alright, goodness.
Szukajcie.
Off to a great start today. So this is Sandra Dorset. She was unimportant for the run. Just completely unimportant. We bring her here, we collect her, like, she gives me a virus, and that's about it. In the casual game, she's got her own sort of quest line, but title screen, she is completely irrelevant.
Weź ją na taras. Szybko.
So as trauma team comes down, we will skip ahead a little bit. Okay. So now that we've rescued her, we can finally go back home. And take a look up at the top right. You see that area public bit? Right underneath that, you see a little clock. That clock? It's a little busted. A little busted. What's going on there?
I jak zadanie? Czy klientka
It's
jest
just
cała i
140. Now it's 5? That's gonna go down to 10 p.m. We're gonna get outside, and even though it was broad daylight, middle of the afternoon, it's gonna be pitch black outside.
Wi, halo!
So I wait there before starting the
Przeżyje, jest już w
dialogue, because
Znakomicie.
you can skip, and now Jackie's outside, and you can force him to run.
Jeżeli chcesz zdążyć.
He will be right at the door when you're ready to go. Perfect. And now we have our second lengthy cutscene, and this is also going to take about 4.5, 5 minutes. So, if you have anything, now is a great time.
Perfect. We actually do have a donation.
Nice.
We have $5 from the DDM Panda, who says, "Good luck on the run, Moo. Remember, I'm always never not nice."
Ah, thanks.
miasto.
Neat little Jackie reference.
To nie jest złe miasto.
Alright, so now we're heading back to our home. We live in the Watson district. Well, specifically, the player character lives in the Watson district. But the Watson district's kind of on lockdown.
Zobaczymy jeszcze na coś do
So we're gonna have to get in there as quickly as possible. We may or may not get there before the cops show up and impede our way. Spoiler alert, we do not get there before the cops show up and impede our way.
Bardzo mi się to nie podoba.
Jedź, Jackie! Nie tak!
Shooting these guys doesn't really matter.
Trzymaj się, Wi.
Oh, nice. But yeah, like I was saying, shooting these guys doesn't matter because this is a completely auto-scrolled section. So you can shoot that one, but you don't want to shoot him because he drives face first into that building. And if you shoot him, he doesn't drive face first into that building. He slows down, and then you slow down because you're no longer in danger.
Ogarniemy to później. Teraz wracajmy do domu.
Okay. So, we've made it to the bridge. Just across the bridge is Watson. And, right in front of us are the cops.
Rzeczywiście. Rozstawiają się.
This lady here, she's got a heart of gold.
Watson zostaje zamknięty. Niezbędne środki bezpieczeństwa.
Pani oficer. Dobrze, że na panią trafił.
System malfunction.
A co we mnie jest takiego
You just got a virus.
Dobra.
That we got from plugging into Sandra Dorset. And tomorrow, we're gonna have to fix that.
Dziewczyny?
Jak nie wrócę, będzie...
Jackie's putting the moves on her.
Jestem dobry chłopak. Ona o tym wie. Czeka.
Proszę na niego spojrzeć. To dobry chłopak.
Wpuść ich, a potem już nikogo.
That
Jedźcie.
was the only good thing Jackie Wells will do throughout the entire run. Well, I take that back. There is one other point where he kind of helps.
Potrafisz być miły.
And this is for the DM Panda.
Ja zawsze jestem.
Am I not nice? Always. I'm always never not nice. Yeah, it's much better in English. At least that particular line. Excuse me. So these guys, they messed up. Because Watson's on lockdown right now. So, they just summoned the biggest, baddest cops in the city, Axe Tech. They are kitted with the biggest guns, the best armor, airships. Hard to beat. Alright, now that all that's over, we can finally skip what's left of the car ride. Make it into our apartment complex. Going into that elevator very, very shortly.
To co? Słodkich snów.
Oh.
Dobry wieczór, Night City. Moimi gośćmi są przewodniczący kongregacji kościoła Eliasza Ostatniego Oswobodziciela, a
Finger guns.
PR Arasaki, czyli
This uses the same tech that fist gliding uses. Basically, you just unload your weapon, whereas with fist gliding, you unload your fists.
piękna gospodyni programu Chipping, poświęconemu tematyce cyberszczepu. Jak leci, kochani?
Alright, so since I couldn't show it to you earlier, I'm going to show it to you now. Fist gliding, super awesome. In addition to fist gliding, there's also a thing called fall damage canceling, which we will use in conjunction with each other to create a skip known as the fast elevator skip. Before that, we get item duplication. If I can get it. Oh goodness. There we go. And now we have the money that we're gonna need later. And up we go.
Seniora, przeszkadzam. Wyspałaś się?
Alright, since this is kind of unsafe, I'm gonna save. Quick save. Excellent. Now we get Regina Jones. Regina used to be really nice, because she would help us skip through some cutscenes that we really wanted to skip through. Perfect. But we recently found another thing that we call call smuggling. And what call smuggling does is it allows us to take a telephone call with all of its dialogue options anywhere we want, without the game thinking that there's a telephone call open.
Przekonamy się.
To co? Jedziemy?
Jasna sprawa.
You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Alright.
Cześć, Wiktor. Tak.
So this guy is our Ripper Doc. What Ripper Docs do is they install all the cyberware that you're gonna want. The main story gives you like 2 free items. You're gonna get a hand modification and an eye modification. But additionally, we wanted to get a nerve system modification called the Karenzakov. This thing right there. That thing is very, very nice. It allows us to do a little thing called K-hopping. We'll just set that up. It allows us to do a thing called K-hopping, which is faster even than driving cars. It doesn't matter what car you're driving. You can have like a sports car souped up with mods. You're gonna end up going faster with K-hop. It doesn't matter. You'll get to see that here in about a minute. The first instance of it. Before that, we need to get this guy's collar.
Kto wygrywa?
There we go.
Tęsknisz za tym, co?
Coś jest nie tak z taką twojego
So,
serca, słoneczko.
Tak na nie gapi.
So the reason why we shoot her there is because it allows us to K-hop over here. Perfect. And now we have our third major cutscene, and this is also going to take a couple minutes.
We własnej osobie.
So, if you've got anything for us, take it away.
Pozwól, że na początek zadam ci pytanie.
Sure, actually, I did have a question for you, if
What's
that's
up?
okay.
What's up?
So, is there anything in particular about this category that interests you more than, let's say, any percent?
This category is shorter. Honestly, I don't have too much time.
Mnie interesuje tylko...
So I don't have the time to invest into a... Now it's almost a 2.5 hour run. It used to be closer to 4 hours. But with all of the stuff that they found for any percent, like,
Mam dla ciebie robotę.
I might have to start running it
Dużą robotę.
more
Okay.
seriously.
So, would you say it's more of like an accessible category for,
Oh, this is
let's say, new
absolutely.
runners?
Absolutely, this is more accessible. It still has all of the tech that you're going to find in any percent, just in smaller chunks. And so, if you want to like just pick up the game and start learning how to speedrun it, this is a great category to start with.
Cool, cool.
Ostro pokrywasz. Czuję, że zarobimy razem dużo pieniędzy.
Alright, so what's going on now is we are talking to Dexter Deshawn. Dexter Deshawn, this guy right here, he's kind of a big deal. He is a high-profile fixer, which is basically somebody who assigns work. They take and receive odd jobs from around the town, specifically Watson in this case. And they find someone to do it. So in our case, he's searching for somebody who can go on a high-profile
W
heist.
transporcie jest flathead.
And he's kind of explaining the job as we go. So there's 2 different portions. First is the Maelstrom, which he's talking about right now. They are a gang with no foreheads because they've replaced them with cybernetic parts. They're kind of nutty, just to be completely honest, but they're good at what they do. And what they do is they steal stuff, particularly from corporations. And in this case, that box that you just saw was a little prototype called the Flathead. It's a spider-type bot where you just go invisible and sneak around. The section for that will be coming up in a little bit, here in about 25-30 minutes. It'll be here.
Co to za kobieta?
Unfortunately, you don't get to control the bot itself. You just kind of order it to do something, and it will automatically do it. So it's not as fun as it could have been, but it is still there.
Nie wiem, o co jej chodzi, ale może uda ci się ją.
So we have to go collect that. And then the second part is we have to talk directly to the client, because the client wants to know what sort of personnel are going to be working on the heist. And so we have to go and talk to her. And what she will do is teach us exactly where we're going. And the way she does that is she has this thing called a brain dance. And what brain dances do is they implant like memories kind of into your brain. They let you live out the actions and emotions of somebody who have been recorded or who had this thing recorded in their head. And then it lets you just completely live it out. Like physical, mental, everything that happens in the brain dance, you feel. She went to the place where the heist is going to take place and found the room where the chip that we're going to be stealing is kept. So we'll be getting that from her. Let's see, there's a person there. Perfect. Okay. So here is the thing tech called edge running, which is I explained a little bit earlier. If I can, oh come on, there we go. Oh. All right. So the reason why we shot those two people earlier, the one before the car ride and the one after the car ride, was so that we could get both of them to be on the call at the on the call at the same time. All right, now here we're going to set up a thing called fast travel storage. Then travel right back so that I can set up call smuggling. What fast travel storage does is it allows you to take the fast travel menu with you through the map menu. And so you can use it whenever... Alright. Jones, Victor, Vector. Skip time, a couple hours. Alright, and I'll set it up again because I'll want it inside. Now we're going to talk to Maelstrom.
Wynajęcie miejsca na sklepik było najlepszą decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
You need to be running. See, this is what I'm talking about. He's just going to be walking this entire time, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Korposi już się nauczyli, żeby tu nie przychodzić, ale za to Arasaka...
Now that he's here, I can finally leave and make my way to the elevator. If you don't wait for him to get to that spot in the stairs, he won't follow you. At all. See, this... It's a little interesting. Normally, you can't skip forward through time in an elevator or in a car because it does something funky with the physics, I think. They just kind of, like, not let you do it. But if you start to leave the elevator and when he pushes you back in, you have a little bit of time while you're outside and you can actually skip ahead. Okay. So now, you just have to take care of this guy, and Jackie will take care of the rest. That was the other good thing he's good for. Right. There's a way to jump up that. If you climb up the canisters, you can skip that ladder, but I missed it, so. Now, this is what I was talking about. can just fast travel out. Normally you have to run all the way through that factory in order to make it out, and you have to go through a combat at the end, and you have to worry about getting shot and burned, hacked. Doing it like this, you don't have to go through any of that, which is fantastic. Just have to make it back here, open that up, and he will come with you. And now you're out.
Albo po prostu cię zabiję.
So now Dexter's gonna call us. And we will move on to talk to Evelyn Parker. We're gonna go to Goldsmith Street, set up another fast travel storage, hop our way over to Lizzie's bar, and then talk to Miss Evelyn Parker. Once we get inside, it's gonna be mostly cutscene. So if we've got stuff to talk about, then that would be an excellent time. Let's see. All right, we'll find it here. Fast travel storage.
Wynajęcie i miejsce na sklepik było najlepszą decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
Jesteś jednym z niewielu ludzi naprawdę zadowolonych z życia.
Don't get hit. There's a trick where if you have Dexter Deshawn's call going, whenever you arrive, you can actually start running while you're in here. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to pull off with our current methods. Because if you fast travel to Goldsmith Street, and then you can kind of, well, so if you're talking to Dexter Deshawn, you can't fast travel. That's problem number one. Problem number two, he calls you very quickly after you talk to Jackie. So you don't have a whole lot of time in order to set up fast travel storage or warp over to Goldsmith Street before K-hopping over there. And you can only K-hop once.
Czemu akurat braindance? Potrzebuję faktów, nie wrat. Jak w ogóle idą interesy? Myślisz, że braindance to wirtualne?
So skipping ahead of her just a little bit allows you to walk at your own pace rather than hers. She will just run up behind you, then walk. If she gets in front of you, then she goes really slowly. And you have to go at her pace. It's not good. You want to go at your own pace. Ideally, you can run, but like I said, it's difficult at best to get over here before Dexter Deshawn's call is finished. And that entire bit where she put the headset on, that's all skippable with Victor's call smoking. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we're going through that's only possible with Victor's call smoking. And now we are in another cutscene. This one's a little bit shorter, but it goes into several other interactive cutscenes. So if you've got something, now is a great time.
Cool. Well, I guess I did just want to remind everyone that we are a little over a third of the way towards our event goal for this donation goal for this event. So if you'd like to donate, feel free to get yours in by the end of the event. But thanks to everyone who's donated so far. It's been really supportive.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for your generous donations. So, this guy, there's something that the casual observer may not have noticed, and it's about his gun. So, his gun is similar in make to a Beretta, a real-world gun, where if you cock it like that, you pull it back, cock it. If you've got a round in the chamber, then the round is going to get spat out. Well, the first time he does that, no round comes out. Sure. Fine, that's fine. Maybe there was only stuff in the magazine. And so, no round would have come out. But the second time, when he cocks it inside the shop, nothing comes out. So there were no bullets after. After he gets shot, even if he had noticed the shooter coming, he would not have been able to fight back.
W pewnym wieku człowiek wyzbywa się złudzeń i życie staje się łatwiejsze.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Nie najgorzej. Korposi już je nauczyli.
So here you reset twice. That actually allows this to play during the dialogue options for Judy. Judy is the technician who is kind of guiding you through this process.
Wynajęcie miejsca na sklepik było najlepszą decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
Jesteś jednym z niewielu ludzi naprawdę zadowolonych z życia w Night City.
W pewnym
I
wieku
can come over here because this is the next set.
staje się łatwiejsze.
We're gonna go into like sound mode.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Nie najgorzej. Korposi już je nauczyli, żeby tu nie przychodzić. Ale za to Arasaka znów rekrutuje wolnych strzelców, a oni
There's
zawsze
a little ring in front, and that indicates a soundbite
Że znosi
that you
twoje
can scan.
Wynajęcie
If you come over here immediately, then that soundbite will scan automatically.
w pewnym wieku
Rather than having to wait 3 or 4 seconds.
się staje się łatwiejsze.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Nie najgorzej. Korposi już je nauczyli, żeby tu nie przychodzić. Ale za to Arasaka znów rekrutuje wolnych strzelców, a oni zawsze chcą...
Similarly, I'm aiming at the ground, because that lady is gonna get punched.
Że znosi twoje marudzenie. Na przykład?
Wynajęcie i miejsce na sklepie...
She's gonna end up on the ground, and we're gonna have to scan her. And scanning her before it's ready
Zadowolonych z życia.
will do the exact same thing and let us skip.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Nie najgorzej. Korposi już je nauczyli...
So you don't have to scan that immediately after she says, hey, try this out.
wolnych strzelców, a oni zawsze chcą mieć najnowsze szczepienia.
Dobrze, że mistyci pomogli. Że znosi twoje marudzenie.
Wynajęcie i miejsce na sklepik było najlepszą decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
Jesteś jednym z niewielu ludzi
I
naprawdę
wonder, how
zadowolonych
many
z życia.
times has Victor said how's biz?
Człowiek wyzbywa się złudzeń i życie
Has
staje się
anybody been keeping count?
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
nie najgorzej. Korposi już je nauczyli, żeby tu nie przychodzić. Ale za to Arasaka znów rekrutuje...
I considered making a donation,
Zawsze chcą mieć
like a $1 donation for every time he says how's biz, but I would be broke in a heartbeat, so
Że znosi twoje marudzenie.
Wynajęcie i miejsce na sklepik było najlepszą decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
Jesteś jednym z niewielu ludzi naprawdę zadowolonych z życia w Night City.
W pewnym wieku człowiek wyzbywa się złudzeń i życie.
we're finally out.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Nie najgorzej.
Right, so here in a second, we're gonna go into the second brain dance, the one with Konpeki Plaza. This is the one that was recorded by Evelyn Parker.
Ona...
Korposi już je nauczyli,
Now,
że
normally you're supposed to go into sound mode and scan a telephone that he's talking on right now. You have to listen to his conversation. Well, not too long after the game came out, we realized that you don't actually have to do that, like, ever.
decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
Jesteś jednym z niewielu ludzi naprawdę
You can just
zadowolonych z życia.
completely ignore it.
W pewnym wieku człowiek wyzbywa się złudzeń i życie staje się łatwiejsze.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Nie najgorzej. Korposi już je nauczyli, żeby tu nie przychodzić. Ale za to Arasaka znów...
Ignoring that phone call saves about a minute and a half. It's kind of ridiculous.
Czyli co? Nie wyciągać go z lodówki.
Lepiej nie, moglibyście go uszkodzić.
Wynajęcie jej miejsca na sklepik było najlepszą decyzją,
To
jaką
powinno
podjąłem w
ułatwić
życiu.
znalezienie miejsca, gdzie Yorinobu trzyma
Jesteś
ryb.
jednym z niewielu ludzi naprawdę zadowolonych z życia w Meksji.
W pewnym wieku człowiek wyzbywa się złudzeń i życie staje się łatwiejsze.
Over here.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Mamy sygnaturę termalną, która pasuje do specyfikacji
Korposi już je
dokumentu.
nauczyli, żeby tu nie przychodzić. Ale za to
You're finally almost out of the cutscenes.
a oni zawsze chcą mieć najnowsze wszczepy.
And by almost out of the cutscenes, I mean almost out of this set of the cutscenes.
Że
Wychodź z
znosi
edytora.
twoje marudzenie.
Wynajęcie jej miejsca na sklepik było najlepszą decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
Masz wszystko...
So now we go from one set to another.
Wynajęcie jej miejsca. W pewnym wieku człowiek wyzbywa...
Here, fast travel to the afterlife. You do have to run a little bit after that, after she's done talking to you, so that the quest marker can update for calling Dex. If you don't let Dexter call you, you have to run all the way back and then run back out to a fast travel, which is not good.
Dobrze, że misty ci pomaga. Że znosi
Okay.
twoje marudzenie.
Hear all that? Isn't it glorious? Right,
Dobrze, że misty ci pomaga.
now
Że
we
znosi
can
twoje
run.
marudzenie.
Normally in this area, you're not allowed to run.
W pewnym wieku człowiek...
This is the result of allowing Dex to be calling you at the arrival point. Music in here is actually not that bad. Is
Dobrze, że misty ci pomaga.
you have to be careful
Że
in
znosi
here
twoje marudzenie.
because there's a lot of dialogue options
było najlepszą decyzją,
that
jaką
may or may not be the first one that you choose. So you can't just spam through.
sklepik było najlepszą decyzją. W pewnym wieku...
Zapraszam.
Yeah. For example, in here, after Dex and T-Bug get up, you don't want to select the first option. The first option will force you to run outside. But with call smuggling, it's really easy to just...
Dobrze, że misty... Jedziemy.
Okay. Because sometimes you'll end up saying, alright, that's the next option, and then How's Biz or I've Gotta Go will come up, and you accidentally hit I've Gotta Go, and you lose, and it's off your time.
Żebyś wiedział, skurwysyn.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Nie widzę powodów, aby używać inwektyw.
Korposi już je nauczyli,
Okay.
żeby tu nie
A
przychodzić.
pamiętasz,
And so now we are at the...
Wolnych strzelców, a oni zawsze chcą mieć najnowsze wszczepy.
Fifth?
Dobrze, że misty ci pomaga.
Is this the fifth one?
Że znosi twoje marudzenie.
Major cutscene, where we're going to be spending 3 minutes just in a car ride.
Najlepszą decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
Niezbędna jest
Jesteś jednym z
weryfikacja
niewielu ludzi
tożsamości.
naprawdę zadowolonych z życia w
Proszę
Meksji.
podpiąć łącze osobiste.
W pewnym wieku człowiek wyzbywa się złudzeń i życie staje się łatwiejsze.
This one's a little bit more interactive. There are a few dialogue options. Choosing anything beyond just the first one doesn't really matter. It doesn't save you any time regardless of the options that you choose. The only issue is you must select something at every dialogue. Whereas in some of them, you don't have to. If you don't select something, then it just won't progress. And when you get the end of your ride, you still have to go through all of the dialogue.
Ludzi naprawdę zadowolonych z życia w Meksji.
Rozjedzie każdego, kto
But
dostanie na...
I can do that in the background. If there's something that needs to be said, now is a great time to say it.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
idzie jego część.
Nie najgorzej.
Well, I think we're all good over here.
Przychodzić. Ale za to
All right.
Arasaka znów
Let's keep on keeping on.
strzelców, a oni zawsze chcą mieć najnowsze wszczepy.
Dobrze, że
Well
misty
then,
ci
I will
że znosi
allow you to take in the view Beautiful view outside.
Jeszcze w niej nie jesteś.
It is,
Jednym z niewielu ludzi.
in all of its glory, Night City.
Tracisz kontrolę.
It does seem like a really nice looking game. I have to say that.
It is a nice look. Oh, see right there? Almost lost it.
Z niczym.
It is a nice looking game, provided you're not trying to get world record runs.
Oh, do
Obviously,
you have to lower the graphic settings for that?
I prefer to lower my graphic settings when I'm trying to go for a world record run. It's just more consistent, more consistently high frame rates. Frame rates are actually really important during cutscenes, because if your frame rates aren't high, then when you start skipping dialogue, it will slow down. The fast forwarding is blocked to your frame rate, and so having a high one, as high as possible, is ideal. For that reason, we, as a speedrunning community, have limited the frame rates to 60 FPS, because it would be unfair to those with significantly less powerful computers. You can't get 60 FPS, or you can't get 140 FPS, or 240, or whatever the setting is at. It wouldn't be unfair to them.
Będę na państwa czekać.
Dobrze, że Misty ci pomaga. Że znosi twoje narodzenie.
Wynajęcie jej miejsca na sklepik było najlepszą decyzją, jaką podjąłem w życiu.
Chodź.
Jesteś jednym z niewielu ludzi naprawdę zadowolonych z życia w Nicy.
Skip ahead just a little bit.
Jak w ogóle?
This. And
Dobrze, że Misty ci pomaga.
Jackie will run.
Twoje marudzenie. Jesteśmy przy... Jesteś jednym...
Babysitting Jackie.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Over here, we used to have a tech where we would go and talk to the bartender in order to skip Jackie ahead for a little bit. But that went away with call smuggling.
Chyba się wpasowaliśmy, co?
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
Nie najgorzej. Korposi już się nauczyli, żeby tu nie
Up here,
ale za to
there's a bit of a corridor.
rekrutuje wolnych strzelców.
And coming back to the corridor, Jackie only
Dobrze,
walks.
że Misty ci pomaga.
He takes about 45 seconds to get from this door to that elevator.
Wieku człowiek
Jesteśmy w
wyzbywa się
pokoju.
złudzeń i życia.
Little ridiculous, and there's no way to speed him up. Until call smuggling. Call smuggling is fantastic. Even in here, cutscenes that should not normally be accessible, or skippable, are suddenly skippable. There. Little bit focused.
Teraz przełącz się na drugą kamerę.
Dobrze, że Misty... Chyba znalazłam przejście. Jesteś
Back. After all this, normally where you sit down, you can stand. And now we get to look. Alright. So this, he walks the entire time.
Jesteś jednym z niewielu...
And just waits out here for a moment.
Jak w ogóle idą interesy?
So call smuggling was found by a guy named MJ Digit, and if I didn't mention him, he would be very, very upset with me. So I will give a shout out to him. I will also give a shout out to Cold Cypher, who current world record holder. He showed me a lot of things whenever I was practicing and learning. I will also shout out Meta, who has just been like extremely helpful with searching for glitches and with searching for strats. He found the thing called wave dashing. In the future it might become bigger once it becomes more consistent. Without the cyberware, it's just not feasible. With the cyberware, though, very, very useful. It's only really usable in any percent or 100% if you decide to run that 16-hour monstrosity. But in any percent, its viability is on the fence. It could be good, could be useful, depending on whether or not you're good at K-hopping. That was found by him, so shout-outs to him. I honestly don't know who first found K-hopping. There were a bunch of people who posted stuff right at the beginning of, right after launch, shortly after launch. So, I don't know who found that. I'm sorry for not knowing your name, but...
Dobrze, że myślicie.
Au! Ah! Oh well. There we go. It's fine though. I had to wait for Jackie anyways. Anyways, I picked up this gun because, for me in particular, it is very good for the next set of enemies that we need to take down. There are a couple drones not too long from now. One of them is big, and a couple of them are small, and the big one is just difficult to take out with a pistol. So you either have to hack it, or you have to pick this thing up in order to make it go a little bit faster. If you're not quick enough, it can fly off to the side, and you'll wait 10-15 seconds just getting ready for it to come back. It's not good. If you've got a moment, this is a great time to say anything you've got to say. We're just riding down an elevator, and we'll be riding down an elevator as soon as we get to the bottom.
Cool. Well, I guess I should talk a little bit about what Heartland does, since I don't think I've mentioned that yet since I've been here. But Heartland, they help rescuing pets from situations where each pet really needs to be rescued from. They have individualized needs, so Heartland is really responsible for providing pets with medical care, emotional support, behavioral help. So it's a very good cause, and thanks to everyone who's contributed to it so far.
Excellent, excellent. So here, we are back in our Delamain. Delamain's about to go into combat mode, because off to the left, you see a guy jumping in. That is Adam Smasher. You saw a little bit of him in the brain dance. You saw a little bit of him while we were hiding after picking up the biochip. But that's the first real personal encounter that you get with him. In a casual run... There we go. In a casual run, you might end up fighting him. And fighting him can be a pain for the casual player. He's got a lot of armaments, he's got a lot of allies, he's tough as a truck. Obviously, he just ran into this thing, knocked it off to its side. But for the rest of the run, we're not going to be seeing him.
Korpusi już się nauczyli, żeby tu nie przychodzić. Ale za to Arasaka znów rekrutuje wolnych strzelców, a oni zawsze chcą mieć najnowsze wszczepy.
So, we're in the last cutscene before the end of the game. The last unskippable cutscene, I should say, before the end of the game. We've got maybe a minute and a half before calling time. Jackie Wells is finally dead. He has been a benefit to all of society this whole time. Just by our side, every step of the way, kicking and screaming as we tried to drag him along. And now, a moment of silence. Good, the moment has passed. Okay. I never get tired of watching Jackie die. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, he stays with you through the entire title screen run. In any percent, you never have to deal with him again. So, we're just gonna talk to Victor. With Jackie remaining in the car. Gotta be careful here. Alright.
Jesteś jednym z niewielu ludzi naprawdę zadowolonych z życia w nocy.
W pewnym wieku człowiek wyzbywa się złudzeń i życie staje się łatwiejsze.
Our final task is to go and talk to Dexter Deshawn.
Nie najgorzej. Korpusi już się nauczyli, żeby tu nie przychodzić. Ale za to Arasaka znów rekrutuje wolnych.
Jesteś jednym z nich.
Wracamy do Saburo. Przez wiele lat należy nadmienić, że wedle analityków już po przerwie.
So inspect ourselves in the mirror. Three, 2, 1, time. And that's Cyberpunk. Title screen. Percent. So, I know that I am currently way ahead of schedule. And so I can go a little bit through the any percent. There's just a little bit of Johnny going on. There is also a couple glitches outside that potentially I can show you. Let's see. What would be a good one? Oh, that's actually a little bit. I can't show you that one. Okay. Let's go back to nope, I had something planned and then I ran it. All right, well, I guess I'm going to leave it at that then. I will be turning it back over to our excellent hosts. Make sure to get in all of your donations and all of your excellent well wishes for this amazing run and this amazing charity.